getting out, taking a stroll along the beach might help reduce your stress a little bit. But if you are a female in the workplace and you are stressed out, you are not alone. In fact, there may be some physical differences between men and women that affect stress levels, especially when it comes to everyday workplace stress. So joining me to talk more about it, Dr. Heidi Hanna, the stress detective. Good morning.
Good morning, Lisa.
All right, so let's talk about this. There was a study in Glamour magazine. I think the most interesting statistic that came out of that article was 30% of the women who participated in the study say their mental health struggles affected their ability to perform their job. 30% because of stress.
And we always have to look at these studies carefully because I feel like a lot of times it's actually underreported. So 30% is a lot, but those are people that are willing to actually say that it's impacting them. And even though we've gotten better about sharing mental illness and mental health concerns publicly with our colleagues, I think people still really hesitate because they're afraid it's going to be a sign of weakness, and especially women, because we worry that we're already being perceived as being emotional and that that's a negative thing, and so we really don't want to complain or bring everybody else down around us.
I find that absolutely is the case. So what is it about the workplace and why is it that women are being stressed? What is it about the workplace that is so stressful?
So the workplace is one element, but the other thing I think we just want to look at is stress in general, that women are neurologically wired to process stress differently. And so one of the analogies I like to use, and this comes into the workplace, is if a man and a woman are both given a task, the man is more likely to take a direct beeline to getting the task done, finishing it, and then moving on to the next thing. Whereas with the female brain, we actually process a lot more holistically. We think more about other options there might be about the task, how it might affect other people, and those are actually really good skill sets to have, especially in the workplace. So studies have also shown that companies that have a woman in leadership or a woman serving on the board tend to be more profitable than those that don't. So women are taking more time to make sure that it is the right decision around the task, and they're also thinking a little bit more about how it affects other people as they listen to make sure everybody's contributing to the task.
Right, okay, because that's what I was just going to talk about. Because, you know, oftentimes we see, and you see this in the day-to-day in your own workplaces at, you know, that where you are. Men, like you're saying, go right to the end, keep it moving. Women really like to include everyone around them and are concerned about how their decision will affect all of these people. But then that puts more stress on you as the decision maker. So how do you overcome your own female brain to accomplish tasks and move on?
Well, I like to think about it as actually leaning into the strengths of what makes us female. And I also want to clarify that this is not all women and all men. We know that when you look at brain scans, there is a very distinct female brain pattern and male brain pattern, and we all have different, you know, assortments of what that looks like. But instead of trying to avoid the negative of it, lean into the strength of it. So for example, we are or tend to be better listeners. So lean into relationships and really relying on each other for social support. There's a brain chemical called oxytocin, which has actually been shown to decrease the negative impact of stress. So if you and I are going through something together and we feel connected and bonded, that will actually cause our brain to grow instead of atrophy because of that oxytocin. And women have more of that naturally.
But how is that going to accomplish work goals, work tasks? How is that, you know, having a relationship with somebody going to help?
Well, it does a lot because actually we listen more thoroughly, we're able to collaborate more effectively, and I think we need to also recognize how important it is to slow down, that sometimes a task is just a task. Go pick something up, bring it back to me, that's easy to do. But more often than not in the workplace, a task now is innovative and creative and collaborative, and I need something that you bring to the table to make this group decision much more effective.
All right, let's talk about how men can react to this. Is there,
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of men that are watching right now that say, my wife or my girlfriend comes home and she is stressed out.
Yeah.
What can I do, perhaps, a good man, what can I do to kind of help alleviate that?
Yeah.
Or what can I do to help the issue instead of make it worse?
Well, the female brain wants to talk, and
Right.
that's okay. So being there and being supportive to listen and actually talk about the experience is one thing. But women can also use a little bit of help getting the nourishment that we need, taking downtime. And so having other things that may even be distracting temporarily, like going to a movie, or that are nurturing for us, like going to the spa or going for a walk or spending time with friends. Those are all helpful. And of course, one of my favorites is embracing humor together.
Yeah.
Not laughing at problems, but studies have also shown that there's something called a humor coping style that helps to minimize the experience of stress.
And there is an event where you can learn
Yes.
all about that coming up, I think, next week, right?
Next weekend. So I am part of a group that actually studies the impact of humor on the brain and on health called the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And I'm chairing our conference next week here in San Diego. And one of the things I really wanted to do is share this with my community. So on Friday night, April 13th, we're going to open our doors to the public for free. We have a limited amount of seats, but we want to share comedy for caregivers. So people can actually go to comedyforcaregivers.com if they want to sign up for a free ticket. Yakov Smirnoff is going to be one of our headliners, which is going to be a lot of fun. Memory from my childhood.
Right,
Maybe not
sure,
everybody remembers, but we're going to have a good time. We also have an athlete from Challenge Athletes Foundation who's going to talk about his struggles and how he used humor to help him cope. And so we have a lot of people really serious about humor, but we're going to have a good time too.
All right. Heidi, thank you so much for your time.
you.
We really appreciate this
Thanks,
morning.
Lisa.
All right.